Hey, thanks for joining us. You are listening to Youth Unhinged by Yuvaan and Karan. When fanatic Jen hit us in the face, we both sat down and decided to talk about it. If you happen to be around our age or seem confused on what is going on in the minds of us millennials, cheer up, you have come to the right place.
Hello there, and welcome to Youth Unhinged with me, Karan, and my friend here, Yuvaan. Hi, Yuvaan. How are you? How's your day?
I'm fine. Today was quite fun because I actually went for badminton. I played badminton for 3 hours non-stop.
Oh, no way. You're not joking.
Yeah.
Wow, what a coincidence. Well, as it so happens, today we are talking about badminton, are we not?
Yep. Today we are mainly trying to focus on the recent issue that blew up in Malaysia, especially in the BAM, or better known as Badminton Association of Malaysia.
Okay. But before we start, I just want to throw out like a fun fact here. You know, a shuttlecock has been recorded traveling at around 408 kilometers per hour in the 2015 Hong Kong Open. Have you ever been hit by a shuttlecock before, like traveling at high speed, like from a smash or something like that?
I think today also I did.
You did? How was it?
I mean, quite painful, but I'm pretty sure it's definitely not 400 plus kilometer per hour
Yeah, okay.
because we are just playing among our
Probably
friends.
not.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah, I remember one distinct experience, and it wasn't so long ago. It was with you and another mutual friend of ours. Actually, he whacked her. He pulled a smash on me, a jump smash, and it stung like anything. I didn't know shuttlecocks were lethal until then.
Yeah, actually, if you don't, and if it actually got on your any body part, yeah, it actually kind of stings, but then it's just for a while.
Yeah,
Not
true.
really a
But I mean,
long-term
these
effect.
guys,
Yeah.
man, like you don't have to go up to national level to get some pretty good like hard smashers. You know, the guys who play regularly. I mean,
Yeah.
even you perhaps. I don't know. I haven't seen you play in a while, but but I mean, people like the guys that we play with, like in general. I think we've been together once or twice. Some of them are so good. My goodness, the speed at which they can smash.
Yeah, I think like you said, they train like since very young, so they really got the power behind every smash. And I think we can come back to our main topic. Karan, do you want to explain what happened actually in our Badminton Association of Malaysia?
Well, Lee Zijia's recent tiff with the Badminton Association of Malaysia. So, for those of you who haven't been following Malaysian news, so if you're Malaysian, then where are you? But if you're part of the international community, this isn't actually a story that's central in Malaysia. I mean, it broke worldwide headlines.
Yeah.
Where currently our best shuttler in badminton. I'm referring to badminton if any of you are still still a bit blur. I'm referring to badminton. So our top badminton player, Lee Zijia, was effectively suspended for 2 years by the Badminton Association of Malaysia. And so basically he was barred from playing international tournaments because he said he wanted to quote unquote turn professional. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, they couldn't reach an agreement.
Yeah, the BAM can't fulfill the terms of the players, so he chose to leave the association, and the consequence was that they initially put a 2-year ban that he can't participate in any of the competition, but now they've also lifted it. And currently, on 11th of February, this is the hot news. I didn't even tell Karan before the podcast. He actually went to training today with the other players because he's still a Malaysian player, right? So he can train under them whenever he wants. Like, he can just come and join in the training institute.
So BAM.
So, and then he also said that he want to train in Dubai. So what happened in this Dubai case is, you guys know Victor Axelsen, right? The number one badminton player in the world right now from Denmark. Yeah, correct. What he does is he's actually training in Dubai with another Singapore badminton player as well. I'm sorry I couldn't really find his name, but then yeah. So what Lizija is trying to do is somehow follow their path by training at Dubai, and his main focus currently is to find a team.
Hold on, let's try to get this one at a time. First of all, you mentioned the Singapore's badminton player. So his name is Loh Kian Yu.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, Mr. Loh Kian Yu. Right. Okay. And then you said he's training in Dubai at the moment. So at the moment, everything has been resolved, right? And you said what was that? You said that he's now free to join BAM, Badminton Association of Malaysia, for training whenever he wants to. Is that correct?
Yeah, because it's still a team event, right? The tournament that they're going for. So and he's still a Malaysian player, so he's allowed to train at the institute. Yeah. So what happens is that it kind of resolved, but then the main problem is we are arguing about who did the right thing here. Do you actually think that BAM did the right thing by not fulfilling a player's demand and let him just leave the association just like that? That's my question.
Let's see. First of all, out of curiosity, do you know what agreement they reached? They just said they reached an agreement. I don't know what the terms were or what the terms are.
From the
Do you
news
know?
that I've read, the maximum info that, or rather, diplomatic answer that they gave us, it ended well. Like they kind of met an agreement, and then it went quite well during the discussion. So obviously, I think what they try to do is he can join the training anytime he want, but then he can still proceed professionally outside the association. And he can still join all the other tournaments and not having the ban instead.
Okay, but then we don't know what exactly the terms are, right? That hasn't been
Yeah,
revealed.
that's true.
So basically, all we know is that he's sort of got a free hand to continue. Like the suspension has been lifted. That's one thing.
Yes. We need to discuss about the three main terms that Lizija actually asked, or rather demanded, from Badminton Association
Yeah,
of
and
Malaysia.
this is all going around the fact that he wanted to quote unquote turn pro, which I want to point out. What does that even mean?
I think what he's trying to say is he just want the ability to choose whatever he wants to do. And mainly he left BAM because of the pressure he got, because initially everyone keep on saying that he's the next Lee Chong Wei. Lee Chong Wei is our badminton legend, as we all know, Malaysian star.
Malaysian number one, world number one at one point.
Yeah, world number one. And then, in my opinion, of course, I would say he's always a number one.
Yeah, but unfortunately, never won an Olympic gold. Always loses to China. Lin Dan.
I think they are a very strong rival, right?
Yes,
you see,
very
that
true.
rivalry is very hard to find nowadays. And then there's this guy that carrying the burden of being the so-called next Lee Chong Wei. And then I think it's viable option for him to be able to choose whatever tournament or whatever he wants to do. All he asks for is just three things: his own coach, his own sponsor, and he is able to choose his own tournament. The Badminton Association of Malaysia don't even want to fulfill the very easy three terms.
So now when you say you want to turn pro, I mean the general consensus based on what I've heard so far is that, like you said, the three terms. And then another important thing about turning professional is the fact that the money that you get from winning titles, you get to keep all of it. Did you know that?
Yeah, true. And then this is the main speculation that was going on when initially Lizija left the association. Many people were telling that he's trying to turn pro just for the money. But then I think he said publicly that that's not the main reason. But then he don't want to disclose the reason as well initially, until the BAM came into the story and figured something so-called agreement. But then I don't even think that's a proper agreement.
Yeah, well, they had no choice. They had to come into the story. First of all, as BAM, well, you said that he doesn't like the pressure, but like it or not, if you're a professional in the sense that, playing for a living, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You are going to face pressure from all sorts of places. Where when you start getting sponsored by someone apart from BAM or apart from your country in this case, because BAM is basically part of the government, right? In a sense, you're still going to get the pressure. Malaysians are still going to follow you unless you start changing your nationality to towards Singapore, like what was done. But Singapore's current badminton player was born in Penang. Did you know that?
Oh, actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that is interesting. And which BAM actually looked at, and they said, well, you could sort of do that if you want to get us to lift this 2-year ban. If you want to bypass all of that, you can sort of change your representative country. However, they weren't very sure whether that abides by the BWF rules. I think Badminton World Federation.
Yeah, correct. But then I think that's absolutely absurd, asking your own country player to change nationality. Like, what kind of stupid stuff are they trying to do right here?
Sure. But I mean, BM doesn't want that though.
Yeah, but then I think even Lizija doesn't want that.
Yeah, he doesn't want that as well.
Neither any of us want to do that, I guess.
Okay, so then from BAM's point of view, what they are doing is essentially, I think someone put it quite made it come boil down to basically this thing, in the sense that Badminton Association of Malaysia, what they've done so far is they've gone out, scouted for talent, brought in the talent, spent money training the talent, until that talent, becomes someone like Riza Jia coming from BAM, right? Potential world ranking players all over Malaysia.
Yeah.
And then they invest a lot of time, money, stuff like that into these players to get good coaches, to put them in proper sports facilities. So they give all of that, and then once you start winning titles, you suddenly say, I don't want to be with you anymore. It's sort of like throwing everything that they gave you into their face. And I think that is the main problem. That's the first thing. And then another thing is,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll let you jump in after this. Another thing is the fact that you are representing your country when you represent BAM. Where what happened to national spirit? So that is essentially what most people on the BAM side, or that's how I think they're looking at it. Like, first of all, where's your gratitude, and then secondly, I mean, obviously he's thankful for it, but just to put it in very stark terms, right? First of all, where's your gratitude, and secondly, don't you want to represent us anymore?
Okay, so I think I can just answer it very easily. First of all, about the gratitude, I think that my stance on this issue is that him leaving BAM is not 100% rational idea, or rather a rational decision. But then the BAM also not being able to fulfilling its demands is also kind of absurd for me. And for the second part, even though he is in the BAM, or he has already left as right now, he is still a Malaysian athlete. He is representing Malaysia and is always going to play for Malaysia. There's no issue about that. That's the main thing. And many people are throwing shades at him, and like some hate comments coming out in the social media right now nowadays, because they feel like, oh, if he's going to leave the BAM, then it's not a Malaysian player, like you also said it just now. But then it's not actually true. He is still a Malaysian athlete. But then, as you said, he was in the BAM since 13 years old. They groomed him since he was 13 years old. I think I can give another example here. If you think that it is not right for the athlete to leave BAM after getting like this much of investment put on them, recently there was 144 national athletes axed from the National Sports Council's training program due to budget cuts. This is the news I got from says.com.
Well, what happened to all the money they spent on them?
Yeah,
So
actually,
they're
you
willing to
see,
throw that out. So
yeah,
that's
and
what you're
then
saying.
they
Yeah.
can just simply throw 144 athletes out there, but then you are saying the 1% leaving the BAM just because he can't get his proper agreement with them. I don't think it's wrong at all. And then let me tell you what this squash player actually said. Her name is Yuvaan, our national squash player. I quote, "It definitely feels like I've been used and then tossed away." This is the words she said during the interview. Like, can't you just understand how much hurt she's feeling right now? Being representing Malaysia and then just get tossed away just like that.
Well, I mean, being used in the sense that, I mean, what I'd say to that is, they put in money into her, though, wasn't it? I mean, it's not like she was paying them; they were paying her for facilities, coaches, what, or like that. That was her living for the most part. I think the problem here, or in her terms, is the fact that there's no care after it's all done. Because I think, how is she being used?
Because he won titles for the country, and then suddenly one day they say that, oh, you are not a Malaysian athlete anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, your training and all comes from the government. So
The government chose this person as a talent for them to bring the success to
yeah.
the
So
country, right?
that's
That's
what
the
I said.
baseline.
So I think the problem mainly there is after everything is done and they say, hey, you're no longer needed, or our budget can't support you anymore. Well, to say that you've been used, I don't know, to a certain extent, in the sense that after you're done, you don't have any. Probably in her case, she doesn't have any life savings. She can't just switch jobs after becoming a professional player, right? Someone who does things like this on a day-to-day basis and earns money, basically literally earns her bread off playing squash in
Yeah.
this case, right? What are you going to do when you just get let down like that?
Yeah, that's the question here. Like, it's just so unfair to the players. And then There's this MP of Bukit Mertajam also said this. His name is Steven Sim, and I quote, remove 10 ministers and deputy ministers to resolve lack of funding issues. That's what he said. And what he's trying to say is that's not the right way to just axe just some national athletes, but then you can just go and axe some politicians instead. It's a sensitive topic, but then I think it's worthwhile if you're going to do that much of risk by just throwing all the athletes away.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I think Zijia's case and the national squash person's case are as much. I think the only similarity comes down to the fact, or the only relation rather, is the fact that what you pointed out initially was the fact that they are willing to throw away that much money spent on 141 athletes, but they're not willing to spend. Yeah, so that's a lot of money wasted already. But they're not willing to spend a substantial amount of money to meet ZGR's requirements to sort of to sort of fund him to pick the coaches that he wants. So never mind the sponsorship. Maybe he's fine with that, but maybe he wants a certain coach, and that coach sounds too expensive or something like that. In that case, In that case, I it like you said, it doesn't seem reasonable that they're willing to throw away so much at one side, but then at the other side, not put in something. I mean, it's both equally expensive, right?
Yeah, but then the 144 athletes being axed from the National Sports Council, it's okay. But then in this case, one person leaving the BAM is being such a big issue.
Correct. And but then I think that's as far as the relationship goes. Beyond that, I think in her case, our national squash player, or former national squash player, I should say, if I should point out now, I think that is another issue, in that all the sports associations need to have a role in making sure that once these fellows are out of the game, that they've got actually something for them to make money out of, like pension. You can't just leave them like that. What are they going to do for a living after that?
Yeah, and then recently there was a case about it also. If I'm not mistaken, it's a Paralympic athlete of Malaysia. She was found selling tissues.
Yeah, exactly.
For a living. Yeah.
And not only that, a few cases like this as well, isn't it?
Yeah, of course the other case, but then this is the one that came to the light.
Right. Yeah. So in that case, then there's a fundamental problem there, which is that there needs to be a long-term strategy in planning the lives of these professional athletes who compete for the nation. There should be a system in place that gives them a very clear-cut view on what life is going to be like after they're done playing the sport.
Yeah.
Right.
And then when you look at it, like internationally also, there are football players like Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. They're getting all the money from their sponsors as well. Like one of the Instagram posts can just be our whole month's salary, I guess. And these are sponsors these are sponsors that not every athlete, especially in our country, can get. So just expecting them to get the money or financial support through sponsor is not a good idea as well. So as you said, the bottom line is the support need to be there. The long-term support is very,
system.
very crucial. Yeah.
Very good support system. All right. So now back to Zijia's case.
Yeah.
Let me point this out. His salary offered by BAM to pay for Lee Zijia was something like a million ringgit. I don't know per year or per month. I can't remember what it is. Nevertheless, it's a huge sum. So that's one thing. But then if they're willing to pay so much, it makes you wonder how much money you win by winning a title.
Yeah.
if he's willing to throw that away and look at something bigger than that. I mean, probably the winnings from going professional is probably way substantially bigger than that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's not that consistent like he was back then. But then I think the main reason of him leaving the BAM, I would say, not just to turn professional, but to avoid this pressure that he's been getting.
Yeah, so then I'd ask, well, aren't you facing that pressure whether you are with BAM or whether you're not with BAM? Isn't the pressure going to be the same? Because you also pointed out, right? You said that whether he represents BAM or not, he's still a Malaysian athlete. So going by that logic, shouldn't it follow that the pressure is going to be the same wherever it is? Wherever you are, wherever he is.
Yeah, that's true. I think the pressure is inevitable if he's going to be professional, right? But then, if you think about it, if he's able to choose his own tournaments, he can perform the way he wants. Let's say if BAM asked him to join literally all the tournaments that he can join, he'll be tired, and then he's also need to carry the burden of being the next Lee Chong Wei, and then he need to perform as well. And if he perform badly, people are going to criticize him so badly.
But I read an article today where the coach said it was his choice actually to enter multiple tournaments at the same time. So it was him who was actually, very excited, or who wanted to enter all of these tournaments at one go.
Mm-hmm.
And so he realized through I think he lost to Singapore's badminton ace the other day. That was his last game
Mm-hmm.
as of today. And the reason why he lost was because according to his coach at least, was because he was playing too many games, too many tournaments, and didn't have sufficient rest in between. And so mental strength is a big factor. And so when you say that, then the counter becomes that. I mean, he's got a free hand in choosing, wherever he wants to play. It's not like BM is going to impose what they want you to enter or not.
But then if he's going to demand that from BAM, that means he's not having 100% freedom of choice in choosing the tournaments he want to join, I guess. And what I'm saying is, in case of absolutely not having pressure, he can reduce the pressure he's getting by able to do whatever he wants, like choose his own tournament, be with his own coach, or rather be with his own sponsor, because sponsors will also demand stuff from you. They won't just give you money and expect nothing from you. It's like a two-way thing, right? You need
Yeah,
to give
so doesn't
something,
it
they'll give
become
something.
worse
Yeah.
then? Sponsors plus the expectations of Malaysians. So doesn't it become more pressure then?
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you. The demand that he asked for is he's able to choose his own sponsors. So maybe he can choose the sponsor that do not ask for a lot of requirements, or just the ones that he likes basically. So you are just reducing the pressure at least.
Right, I get where you're coming from, but then the question will be, where's room for improvement if you get to choose who you're. I mean, if you get to choose a sponsor that's not that demanding, then there doesn't seem to be an incentive for you to improve, because it seems like you've always got like a soft pillow to land on. There's no, yeah. It seems like you're running away from the pressure.
I think, yeah, I would agree with that also. I think that's a drawback that you get from it. But then I think currently you also say that it is actually hard for being independent in choosing his sponsors and stuff because it's already out of the BAM. But then his main focus right now is make a own team for himself so that he can slowly find like proper sponsors and proper coach for him.
So you said make
So
an
his
own
main
team for himself.
so the
So
main
how
focus
does
right
that
now
work?
is it. So what happens is if he got his own team, like he can recruit like whoever you want to play with him, right? And then he can find sponsors easily because I think sponsors will be volunteering to sponsor whole group instead of just one person. And is in a recent article, he also said that there are 3 to 4 sponsors who are willing to sponsor, but then he need to have a team first. He said that that's his main focus right now, to have a team first and then only look for sponsors.
I mean, in that case, well, it makes a lot of sense to sort of go professional in the sense that you can why not team up with the best in the world, right? And then you can start practicing with them, in fact, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's the whole point here.
But it again depends on who exactly he's looking at as, to be part of his team. Well, it's not like we don't have super experienced Malaysian players as well. You've got Lee Chong Wei, and then who's the badminton ace that we had.
Rashid Siddiq,
Rashik Siddiq. Yeah, well, he criticized Lee Jia's
easy just,
Z Jia's move. He said it's a bit
yeah.
too early.
And he said that's due to his lack of experience in life.
Yeah, isn't it? So he's making like big decisions very early. Sure, he won a lot of tournaments, but I mean, I don't know. It seems a bit early for him, doesn't it? Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you
that's
think?
why I said him leaving the BAM is not very rational of him. But then equally, I don't think BM did the right thing either.
So, what do you think they could have done better?
I think that at least they can fulfill 2 out of the 3 demands at least, and maybe they can find a better agreement. I would say let him choose his own tournament.
Which I think he's doing. Well, like I said just now, he's got a free hand that's been demonstrated in the fact that he's lost to
But then if he's
Singapore's
demanding
ace.
it from the BAM, that means they're not doing it 100%, right? You are
What's that?
not going to demand something that
No,
the
but then he didn't demand to choose the tournaments that he plays in. His demands were 3, right? And you mentioned all 3 of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't mention getting to choose the tournaments that he plays in.
Yeah, it's choosing the tournaments you want to play, choosing his coach, choosing his sponsors.
All right. Okay. Well, we don't even know at the end of the day what sort of deal they reached with BAM. ZGR's team and also BAM. We still don't know that as well.
What it kind of makes sense as well. I mean, I think I'm going like all around about it. Like one time I was saying it's not.
In that case, well, it's time for us to take a break anyway. So we'll see you in another few seconds.
Okay, so welcome back. I think we can start to conclude what we have been already talking. I think the main problem lies in our sports community in Malaysia, especially. I think that they are not supporting our athletes enough, and they definitely need more encouragement. What do you think about it, Karan?
What are you talking about? I mean, like the sports community, the sports community as a whole. Of course, there's some problems that we have come up with. Of course, the most blazing one being the fact that there's a lack of maybe a basic system of helping them get through post sports life. What's life going to be like after that? How are they gonna live, essentially? What's going to be their bread and butter? How are they gonna survive after that? So that's essentially one problem. But then apart from that, BAM, they've got many experienced people up there. And from what I've heard, like for instance, BAM's press conference, they said, getting grants, a lot of money involved. It's not an easy thing to do. So it's a lot of effort that's gone into BAM, and they've done a lot also, because I think it's a respectable thing what they've done, gathering so much talent, trying to look for grants, people who can sponsor them and give them the money. And then there's also all of us, we are paying taxes, right? I think a certain amount goes to them as well. Taking all of that and then saying, I don't want you anymore. That seems a bit unfair. I'm not sure.
I still stand by my opinion, because I feel like what he has done is not purely rational, but then it kind of makes sense from his perspective, because he need to improve for his country and for himself as well. And I think he's doing the right decision by training overseas and going professional. And I think that as long as our sports community is still in the same system as it is now and not upgrading at all and letting all the athletes just leave the association just like that, I think we're not going to improve at all.
Well, first of all, I think, well, they've just to finish off, I think they reached a solution. First of all, we should all be happy for that.
Yeah,
Secondly,
that's true.
Well, I think we should hope that they can come up with a more sustainable solution that will last them longer. So far it seems that they are a better understanding of each other's views, and so props to them for that. And yeah, well, I think that Lee Zijia is a very talented player. He's got, how old is he? Do you know how old he is?
He is 23.
23, yeah, I thought the same. Well, so he's got a long future ahead of him. So well, the only way you learn,
I think he still haven't reached his peak.
True, yeah. and the only way you learn is from experience, and that includes bad calls from time to time as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think we can just end it off by looking at the bright side. Lee Zijia is still our player. He's still our Malaysian badminton player, and is still our athlete. So I think we can be proud of it, and we can end it off right here. Thank you for listening to us. We are Youth Unhinged, and goodbye.
Bye.